As time goes on, I'm starting to notice that a lot more men are starting to wake up to the reality that the current situation we're in economically, this fake economy, the way the dating market is so screwed up where only the top 10% of the most attractive men actually have any success. I came across this video recently. I don't know who this guy is. It says his name is Joseph Humphrey Jones, so that's who he is. But I'm going to go ahead and play this clip because I think this guy says it very well. He says a lot of the things that I think a lot of men lately, including myself, have been thinking. So let's see what he says.
There is absolutely no point in working if you have nothing to live for. I worked for 5 years flipping fucking burgers because kids today ain't gonna do that because they're smarter than me. And basically just got treated like shit for $11 an hour, which is not even a living wage, just enough to buy groceries maybe, and that's it. Maybe pay a bill, one fucking bill, that's it, your internet bill. Other than that, I was just wasting my goddamn time because I'm too ugly to have a fucking girlfriend, and I don't have anything to live for or look forward to in life. I don't have a wife or kids, and I don't go out and do fun shit because nobody wants to fucking be around me. So I took it upon myself just to quit my fucking job and give up on life, and whatever happens, happens. Every day's a fucking waking nightmare anyway, because I fucking hate waking up. It's just the same shit over and over, like working a fucking miserable ass job. And like I said, whatever happens, happens. I don't give a fuck anymore.
So, when I first saw this, I just thought, that is exactly right. I know obviously I'm not the only one that feels this way, but to see another guy who, I don't know if this guy's black-pilled or what kind of online spaces, what kind of content this guy consumes. I have no idea. He seems to me like he's just a regular guy. He's probably not as involved with all this black pill manosphere, whatever you want to call it, type stuff. Maybe he knows about that stuff, maybe he doesn't, but I think this is just a regular guy that he's finally picked up on the fact that, what's the point? There's really no point in working if you're not a good looking guy and you have no chance of ever getting a girlfriend and you have no chance of ever finding any happiness in this life. And then on top of that, if the only jobs you're able to get in this fake economy, if the pay is so low that it's not even enough that you could save any money, and it's not even enough hardly to live on your own and move out of your parents' house, what is the point? It's like you can either wage slave away, working your butt off 9 to 5 now, and still not be able to save anything and still not be able to have enough money to retire eventually, versus the other option, which is just give up and not work a job, and the result is the same. Either way, you still don't have any money. So you can work and wage slave all day, every day, till your heart's content, but, well, your heart won't be content because you won't be making hardly any money. It's not like a woman is going to see you and think like, oh my God, he has potential. Oh my God, he's a hard worker. He's working so hard here at Burger King. He's such a hard-working Burger King cashier. No woman is going to think that. She's not going to be attracted to you for how good you are at driving a forklift around the Amazon warehouse. No woman is going to be impressed by that. So working hard, in most cases, for most of us, it's not going to give you much money, if anything, and all that money is going straight to bills. So basically, you're not earning any money. You're not getting any play romantically. You're not attracting any women. So, what is the point? At best, you will make enough money to like be able to afford more coping mechanisms. You know, you can afford new video games, stuff like that, which is nice. It's nice to have money for those little luxuries to help you cope, help you get by in this fake economy, fake society, fake everything that we live in. I hope it's fake, because if this is real, this is the real reality. This is what it all is. If this is real, that sucks. I hope it's fake. I hope I'm living in a simulation. Not that it matters anyways, but there's just no point. And I think a lot of regular guys, regular men, are starting to wake up to this. You know, as far as I can tell, this guy in the video, he seems like kind of a normie. And maybe not, maybe I'm just judging a book by its cover, but he seems like a regular guy, and he's been working his butt off, trying to make ends meet, trying to find a little bit of happiness in this fake world we're living in. And like so many others, he just keeps getting beat down. And he's waking up to the fact that it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So he's dropping out pretty much. He's giving up. He's not going to be playing by the rules anymore. I don't know if he has parents or family that he can move in with that can help support him. I don't know what his exact situation is, but I understand. I totally understand. Even if he chooses to be homeless, you know, obviously, even a ghetto shithole roach-infested apartment is probably better than being homeless. But I don't know. I mean, if you're in the right season where the weather is at a comfortable temperature and you own a car already, then sleeping in your car might not be that bad. So it is at the point where I actually do understand why some men would choose to just be homeless or living in their car. I understand why people would do that, because rent costs way too much. And working a job, if you are able to find a job, it's probably not going to pay much of shit. So you're still going to be broke. You're still not going to be saving up anything for retirement. You're still not going to be getting any attention from the opposite sex. So what is the point in even trying? Why would you try? Why would you be expending all that effort when you get nothing in return? There is no point. And a lot of us realized that a long time ago, but there's a lot more guys these days that are waking up to that fact. And ultimately, I think that's a good thing. I think there will be, or hopefully there will be, a critical point where there's like enough men have dropped out of society and just totally given up, that it's reached that critical mass where it's like all the corporations, politicians, whoever it is that pulls all the puppet strings, they will eventually realize like, hey, we need these guys to be working. You know, they will at some point make a change to make things better for all the average men out here, because they do need at least a certain number of us. It might not be all of us, but if enough average men give up and drop out and stop playing by the rules, at some point, these people are going to realize like, okay, we got to offer better wages or something. Like at some point, it seems like they would, maybe not. I mean, probably not actually, but what's the point? What is the point? I know some of you you're probably listening to me say all this and you're thinking, well, you worked a basically minimum wage job at a car wash for like just a few weeks and you got a girlfriend out of that. So wasn't that worth it? I consider myself to be extremely just out of this world lucky with what happened with me. And I don't think that that is typical. I don't think that even 0.0001% of men in this position that just, mid 30s take on a very low paying job like at a car wash or whatever. The vast majority of the time, that's not going to be worth it. That is not going to, you're not going to meet a woman that way. Yes, that happened to me. I don't know how, but I don't think it's typical. I don't think it's like, somebody somewhere wins the lottery. They have lotteries. Somebody somewhere wins that $1 billion when they have that $1 billion Powerball lottery or whatever. Somebody wins that money. Somebody wins that, okay? But I think most of you can understand, like, it's not good advice to tell somebody to spend a lot of money buying lottery tickets. Or even, it's not good advice to tell somebody to buy one lottery ticket. Because the chances that you would actually win are so astronomically low, it's basically zero chance that you would win. So me working at the car wash and actually somehow meeting a woman and getting a girlfriend out of it, that is basically the same odds as winning the Powerball. It's the same thing. I seriously believe that. It is, if anything, the odds were probably worse than the lottery. The odds of me getting a girlfriend out of my car wash job, that's probably worse odds than winning the Powerball lottery. So I don't think I'm being hypocritical with any of this. I think this is it's just how it is. We live in a fake, fucked up world with a fake, fucked up economy and a fake dating market where women's value is like so artificially inflated. Or, I mean, is it even artificial though? Because it is true that with online dating, the options they have are endless. So maybe it's not exactly that their value is inflated, but they just have that crazy high value now in this current dating market. But whatever it is, men are done. The average man, they're giving up. They are giving up. And at some point, if we continue down this path as a society and our economy and everything, if we continue going the same way we're going in this hyper gynocentric direction, enough men are going to eventually drop out of society that it's going to reach a critical mass where it's like they have to do something about it. Somebody's going to have to do something about it. Now, it might not be good. I hope it would be something good like, paying us better or having more jobs, but it might not be that. The solution that whoever, the shadow cabal, whoever's in charge, politicians and corporations, the board of directors of Fortune 500 companies, whatever, all these people, that have actual power and influence in our economy, they might just see a bunch of men dropping out of society and they might think, let's just drive over them in a tank. Let's just Tiananmen Square all these dropout men. It might go the wrong way. It really might. And I hope that doesn't happen. But, no matter what you think is going to happen, or maybe nothing's going to happen, maybe we just kind of stagnate here and there's not any movement in either direction, getting better or things getting worse. Maybe it just stops here. But whatever it is, at this current point, if you are an average man even if you're highly qualified, because I would say, most people would agree, I think, that I am a highly qualified man. I have a master's degree in computer science. That should be something that helps you get a job, should it not? You would think, but it doesn't really. And as it turns out, programming jobs are pretty much done with. They got AI for that now. They don't need programmers, not a lot of them, anyways. Because the thing you got to realize is these corporations, yes, their products would be better if they had actual human programmers and they paid them enough money to care about their jobs and all that. But these corporations don't care about how good their product is. They just care about profit. So they're willing to just pay one guy to do the work that you need actually like 20 guys to do. They'll just pay one guy to do it and use AI to develop like 80% of their software. And they'll be okay with that. The end product will be garbage, but these corporations do not care if the end product is garbage. Especially because in a lot of cases, it's like, you're not going to create something to compete with Netflix. Nobody is going to be able to do that other than another giant corporation. You can't create your own YouTube. You can't create your own dating app that becomes more popular than Tinder or Hinge or whatever. That's not even a possibility. So a lot of these corporations are more or less operating as a monopoly, and they don't have any reason at all to care at all about the quality of their product. So I guess I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but it's like, it's really hard to find a job. And even if you can get a job, it's usually a job that sucks. The jobs that you are able to get, there's a reason that you're able to get that job. And you're not able to get the job that you actually want or the job that you actually need, really. There's a reason you can get that job working at the Amazon warehouse or whatever. It's because they don't pay shit. There's a reason you can get a job at Captain D's. Yeah, because they don't pay shit. And if anything, working there it makes it less likely for you to find a girlfriend. Because women will be repulsed by you. It makes it less likely for you to find any success in life. You might as well just drop out and try to go the Breaking Bad route. Seriously. I'm not actually saying seriously do that. I do not recommend you do that for all intents and purposes. But, wink, wink. You're better off doing something like that, just like dropping out and trying to sell drugs as a homeless lunatic on the streets. Just catcalling every woman that walks by, hoping maybe one of them likes it. Your chances are better acting that way than if you actually, try and be a good boy and work an actual real job and just hope that, somebody will see how hard I'm working and then they'll promote me to manager. And then, Stacy will walk in and she'll see how hard I work at turning the burger patty over on the other side to get it evenly cooked. And she'll take a bite and she'll be like, that was scrumptious. You put the pickles on just right. And she's going to want my phone number and she's going to want to do sex with me. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You're better off just dropping out, becoming a drug dealing gangster, and just catcalling aggressively every woman you see. And just hope one of them likes it. You're literally better off living your life that way. Of course, I do not recommend that, and that is bad. Let's check YouTube's terms of service. Yeah, everything I just said, I don't agree with that. I was actually doing a opposite day kind of thing. But seriously, folks, it's not looking good out here for average and especially below average men. Even if you're above average in some ways, above average qualifications, above average workability, that stuff doesn't really matter that much. The only thing you really need to be above average in is looks first and foremost, and then social skills. If you're already good looking, then social skills come into play. And it's very beneficial to have good social skills. But if you don't have those things, primarily the looks, if you don't have that, but even if you are an attractive man, it still makes more sense to just drop out and not try to work a regular job, because you'll still get attention from women just for being attractive, even if you're like a homeless lunatic. So the incentive for every man, pretty much no matter who you are, is stop trying so hard. Drop out and give up. Now, I say all of this, and I do believe what I'm saying deep in my heart, but there is also something in me that makes me not able to like just fully drop out. Part of it is I looked into, I basically won the lottery and I got a girlfriend out of a very low wage slave job who, I haven't been intimate with her. We've barely even kissed. If I'm being honest, I find her attractive, but it's not like, that's probably just because my standards are so low through the floor right now because I've gone 36 years with no action whatsoever. So, when you hear me salivating over those melons talking about her and how much I want to do certain things, it's like, most of you, if you saw a picture of her, you would be like, what? These are the melons? This? I'm just being honest with you. She's actually not that good looking, but this is what I can get. And I feel like I won the lottery to get that. So that's how bad things are. So if you ever wonder why men are dropping out of society in droves, why so many average men are waking up to the reality of how hopeless it is out here in this fake economy, the reason why is because that's where the incentive is. There is no incentive to work a minimum wage or barely over minimum wage job. Even if your job pays double minimum wage, that's still nothing. That is still basically nothing. And a lot of men are they're not going to put up with it anymore. And they're dropping out. They're giving up. You might think that a man that makes that decision is a loser and he's being stupid, but I don't think that. I think it makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot more men, even some of you listening to this, that you think I'm just talking a bunch of nonsense, even some of you are going to come around eventually, because it's only getting worse out here. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video if you haven't already. And thank you for watching.